going.
Hello and welcome to the F1 Esports Pro Series presented by Aramco. You join us for the first event of 2020 live from the Gfinity Arena. Now, sadly, the drivers can't join us here. However, they're still going to be going wheel to wheel on the track. Action from start to finish.
It's going to go right down to the wire. Late one from Lee, and there's a bit of contact from Oh, he's hit him. Bold up the inside into Stowe, and it's Daniel Bernstein who's going to take the win. He's gone up the inside. And across the line to seal the team's championship. Here comes David Sanitza and the 2019 title for David Sanitza.
Brilliant then, plenty to look forward to this season, and joining me to navigate through all of it is Sky F1's very own Natalie Pinkham. Natalie, great to have you back in the studio.
So good to be back. Feels like only a moment ago we were sitting right here, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we managed to get through everything because we had the virtual Grand Prix, we had the Pro Exhibition, and we're back.
It sustained us through lockdown. Virtual racing is about the only live sporting competition we had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's great, yeah. We loved the virtual Grand Prix, we loved the Pro Exhibition, but we're now back for the big one. And isn't it going to be great? It's a brand new game for 2020. It's across, I can't believe the depth of talent, the global reach, 15 different nationalities represented. And young drivers, what, nine rookies in the series?
And we could have, the first time ever, the youngest ever driver, the Greek guy, Michael Romanidis. He could become the youngest driver.
Younger even than Max Verstappen was in Formula 1, because he was 17 and 166 days, and I believe that Michael is 17 and 1 month.
Yeah, so it's gonna hot up. The talent's gonna be there for everyone to see. In terms of the schedule, which race are you most looking forward to?
Well, there are a few, and of course this first event encapsulates 3 of them. Over today and tomorrow we've got Bahrain, Vietnam and China. Can't wait for Vietnam, of course. We were hoping to go there in April of this year, but COVID put paid to that. And then event 2, we've got another race that was supposed to debut on the F1 calendar, the Netherlands. So that will be exciting to see in November. And then look at that, event 3, United Kingdom, Belgium and Italy. 3 epic tracks. Cannot wait for that. But I have to say, it's the very last race of the season that really does it for me. Brazil, Interlagos. We saw some amazing racing there in the virtual Grand Prix with a record change of lead between Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon. So yeah, what a feast of races we have got. 12 different races in 4 different events and so much depth of talent to enjoy. Cannot wait.
Brilliant. And the beautiful thing is you're going to be looking forward to Interlagos. I'm going to be over here intermittently because there's another member of the team that I cannot wait to introduce to everyone for 2020, and that is the one and only Mr. Nick Hamilton. Nick, actual racing driver and also, and I'm make sure I get this right, sim racing king of enthusiasts. Is that right? Is that fair?
Yeah, just about. Just about.
Now, we're going to look at qualifying from today in Bahrain. What does it take to have a fast lap in Bahrain? Because some drivers missed out, the likes of Bono Huis.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about consistency here. And, you know, the track is very bumpy. The curbs are very violent. But, yeah, as I said, consistency is key, especially first qualifying of the year. It's really important that all drivers, you know, get the best out of it.
Yeah, and do you reckon some of those drivers are going to be very, very nervous coming into this? Because it's a new season, they've signed for new teams. There's a lot to prove, right?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe the positive is that they're at home. They're home simulators, more comfortable for them maybe. They're not in the lights here of the studio, the audience looking at them, but there's a lot of people watching on TV. But as I said, yeah, it's a fantastic spectacle for all of them to, you know, show what they're made of.
OK, well, let's look at those highlights then. And as I mentioned, Bono Huis, one of the drivers who missed out. What do you think went wrong for him in Q1?
Yeah, I mean, Bono Huis obviously moving into Mercedes for the first time. This is his first race. And yeah, lock up there, a little bit of a mistake, a bit of a scruffy lap, and yeah, ended up being last, which is exactly what he would not want for his first race to Mercedes.
Yeah, and this is new, obviously, for this year, Q1, Q2, Q3. And there he is, his teammate, Brendan Lee, obviously 2 times champion. Not the 2019 he wanted, however, he's come back, fire in his belly, he is ready for it, but again, knocked out in this new format.
Yeah, you can see he's bewildered himself, really. So super shocked that he missed out on Q3, but only by a small margin.
Yeah, and we're watching here, we're on board now with Daniele Haddad for the BWT racing team, putting in a good time, but just missing out. You see they're crossing the line, 11th, and that's what it means to these guys.
Yeah, Danny Haddad wears his heart on his sleeve. You can really see how frustrated he was, but hopefully he can do better in the race.
Yeah, now we go into Q3. A man that Matt Gallagher, we'll hear from him later on, calls this guy the hot lapper, Jarno Opmeer. Most of the community do as well, but he is showing some real form.
Yeah, he's been quick all the time. Every time we see him doing a really, really good job. But this is the man, Nicolas Longuet, going P1 and doing a fantastic job to start the race for the first season, and yeah, done a really good job, really happy for him.
Yeah, and what's interesting, you're seeing what it means to him. He's just signed for the Renault Vitality team, was with Red Bull, won race last year, finished second in that, and really showing how maybe Red Bull might miss him. I'm throwing a storyline in there, potentially there, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to prove himself. He's not really thinking about anything else. He just wants those pole positions, and you can see how much it means to him. And as I said, did a really good job, and I'm sure he's very happy.
Well, we're looking at the grid there, Nicolas Longuet in first pole position there. Then we have Marcel Kiefer, new signing for Red Bull. Then Danny Berezny in third, Joni Tormala in fourth. Very exciting. Kiefer is, you know, he's out qualifying his teammate Freddie Rasmussen there, and that's the ice cold Finn that we expect a little bit more from. But a roster, Jarno Opmeer there, Alfa Romeo proving that they've really got some potential in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, Jarno Opmeer has always been strong. Danny Berezny showing how he's a very good driver, as always. But yeah, it's fantastic to see all of these drivers. Danny Haddad there, Brendan Lee down in 13th. It'll be interesting to see what he does. And James Baldwin in 15th with Weigang there. And yeah, I mean, it's a strong grid for everybody. Bono Huis is definitely going to want to make up for his mistake in qualifying.
Yeah, David Tunitzer way down, not where we'd expect him. But listen, Nick, stick around, as for you guys as well, because in just a few moments, we will get the first race of 2020 in the F1 Esports Pro Series underway. We're going for the lights in Bahrain. We'll have all the action in a few moments.
Seriously? I cannot believe this guy. I cannot believe.
There are some quick runs with the engine. What's happening?
Gets in there, Lewis. That was a hell of a race.
How exciting is Bahrain? We're going there in just a few moments. And just to remind you, this is the F1 Esports Pro Series supported by Aramco. Nicolas Longuet has got pole position. Very, very exciting driver. However, question to you, Natalie. When we head to Bahrain, how important is that qualification and being in pole position for the track and overtaking opportunities?
Well, in terms of real-world racing, it's important, but it's not vital. So 6 of the last 14 races have been won from pole, so under half. And then in terms of overtaking, it's actually in the top 5 tracks in the hybrid, the post-2014 era, turbo hybrid era, with an average of 46 passes per race. It's not bad at all. I mean, it's quite an exciting track to go to. I love going there every year.
Yeah, so someone like Brendan Lee, David Tunitsa, who are further down than we expected, there's a chance, even a chance for Bono Huis in 20th.
Absolutely. Don't ever give up hope at a circuit like Bahrain, because you've got your chance to overtake.
All right, brilliant. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to this. And here to talk you through the race is Matt Gallagher, and another new face joining us for this season. Not just a face, also the voice, Alex Jakes. Alex, it's great to have you with us.
It is absolutely great to be with you, Tom. This is so exciting. The wait is very nearly over. All the talent, all the practice, and now it's about getting the job done on the opening day of the season. So here we go. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights in Bahrain. And the new season is underway with a good getaway for Nicolas Longuet, who moves off the line well to cover off Danny Beresnay, who's got a good getaway. Johnny Tormler in 3rd position as they all go through what is always a precarious opening lap of the race here, and it's proved that way. They've managed to all get through, but Danny Beresnay lining up Longuet really nicely in the Renault. He's having to cover him off. That's a late lunge. What a bold move to start the season for Danny Beresnay, but even better for Johnny Tormler, who finds a way by Matt Gallagher.
There's split strategies at the moment in play. I think Kiefer's on the medium tyres, so struggling a little bit, and so is Longuet in the start of this first lap. But Johnny Tormler taking advantage of the Danny Beresnay lunge. I'm pretty sure Beresnay nipped a wing last year at that exact same spot. So Danny Beresnay, a much better start in P2, very much in contention. But Johnny Tormler, what a start to the season for him.
He will be so ecstatic with that. He's got a 0.3 of a second lead, lap 1 of 20. This year, the races have been extended, so the drivers have to prove it over a longer distance, 35% distance of the normal Grand Prix. So we look to see who, well, it will be a very, very disappointed Nicolas Longuet. Started from pole. That late lunge has really undone his opening stint of this race.
That's what I love to see, Alex. Finally, you know, we said it so many times last season, I want a lunge, I want an overtake, and Beresnay has delivered in the first lap of the first race of the season. Johnny Tormler, obviously the fastest lap as we start lap 2, but I'm so surprised to see Tormler all the way at the front. He was very, I don't want to say lackluster, but struggling last year. But what a great start for him, and crucial for Tormler and Beresnay on that soft tyre to get track position and try and push away from the mediums. But note, Alex, there isn't a huge amount of pace differential between the mediums and the softs.
We've got David Tunitsa, the reigning champion, is in the pits. And the word that I am hearing is Manuel Biancollia has had contact with him on the opening lap of the new season, and our reigning champion cycled all the way back down the field as the 2 Mercedes go wheel to wheel. Brendan Lee leading Bono Huis right now as they head through turn 9 and down the hill to the lock-up zone that is always turn 10.
The Mercedes may want to swap positions here. The money is decided in the Constructors' Championship, and right now Bono Huis with the soft tyres, I think Lee's going to let him go and promote himself up to P12. So Bono Huis, what a start from 20th on the grid, Alex, up to 12th already.
Absolutely scything his way through. Was not his moment in qualifying, but he's using the difference in strategy right now. Those soft tyres with a real advantage compared to the yellow-walled medium compound. Let's check in then with Bono Huis. We can see he's set up there. And the very unusual spectacle of having gone from racing here at the Gfinity Arena to being back at home, but the driver's already locked in. Plenty of practice already logged, and now delivering when it matters. Let's check in on the predicted pit stop strategy as Bono Huis lining up Enzo Benito in the Ferrari has the inside line, and once again, it's a difference in tyre compound. It is going to be under traction, a simple pass for Bono Huis.
Bono Huis absolutely flying at the moment. Great to see. What a comeback. And Brendan Lee as well, trying to follow his teammate through, but won't be able to go around the outside. But maybe did Enzo go a bit deep? He did. So Brendan now with the switchback.
That's nicely done coming out of turn number 4, and that was on the same strategy. Those drivers both on the medium compounded tyres. So that was a like-for-like pass by Brendan Lee, who is now just trying to chase down his teammate who's going on the attack, trying to make that outlandish strategy of starting on the faster tyre at the back. So often you would see them go with the alternate strategy. He's on the Red Bull tyres, and he is making progress, as that graphic told you. Check in with the battle of the front right now. Johnny Tormola, 7/10 of a second ahead. Johnny Tormola, who's been in the Red Bull before, then been demoted to AlphaTauri. Let me know if that rings any bells from real life, but he doesn't care about that right now because all of these cars are identical, and on lap 3 of 20, he is doing the best job.
Tormola and Beresnay absolutely flying out in front. They have left Marcel Kiefer for dead in P3 on those mediums. Was there a bit of contact there between... I'm not sure what that was, but it looked like an end plate had just been broken off one of the cars. It would be pretty clear to see if one of the drivers starts to get a bit under pressure. Was that Marcel Kiefer who's now coming under pressure from Longuet into turn 1?
Longuet thinking about the move, doesn't want to risk it. These guys are on the same tyres at the moment. You are looking at the driver who started the season on pole. It came undone on that opening lap of the campaign. Kiefer in the Red Bull ahead, making his way to turn number 4. Wide as possible entry into turn 4. They all take that, going as wide as possible, but on board with the driver who used to be part of that Red Bull setup. Only given one run out last year, put it on the podium. He has switched teams. He's done a Daniel Ricciardo, if you like, to get those races, and right now he is hunting down Red Bull, so he will need no motivation at all. Bit of a lock up at turn 10. That's always going to be the case around here.
After taking a look at Longuet's cam there in the bottom left we just saw, I think he might actually take the award for less facial expressions than Freddie Rasmussen. He was completely and utterly dialed in. He does not care about anything but racing, but right now Kiefer is very much at the front of this train on the medium tyres, and it's crucial for anyone in this train that's on the softs. They're just losing time hand over fist, but here we go. Danny Beresnay closing in on Johnny Tormola. These two very much just checked out. We have got a 2-horse race for the victory here, Alex, around Bahrain.
Certainly appears that way at the moment. DRS now for Danny Beresnay, trying to add another victory to his serious tally. He's got the DRS, he's got the momentum, and now he's got the race lead. Danny Beresnay finds his way through past Johnny Tormola, whose advantage had been 7/10 of a second, but he's been reeled in these last couple of laps. And look at the driver who is always the hardest breaker out there due to his unusual style, but he's got the move done. And now he can try and break clear the Alfa Romeo, leaving the AlphaTauri right now. Beresnay ahead of Tormola.
Now that's the Danny Beresnay we all know and love. We know he has the talent, and it's been disappointing to see that he hasn't been able to fight for the championship over the last few seasons. He's had a few victories under his belt. He has the pace. We know he can win, but he's never got off on the right foot. This is potentially where Danny Beresnay starts to bring it back.
Danny Beresnay today looking for a 6th win in the Esports Championship. To underline Matt's point there, it's one thing to win races occasionally. It's another thing entirely to put together a championship challenge. That's exactly what he's aiming for in 2020. And he's going about it the right way at the moment. Back to Nicolas Longuet. You can see in this part of the lap, very, very confident despite the lockups. But you've got to have the confidence out of the final corner around this racetrack, the 15th and final corner that they approach right about now. And then, it's a lockup for Kiefer, which will give Longuet all the enthusiasm. Marcel Kiefer without that DRS, as into the pits comes Johnny Tormola. We've got a battle there, not for P3, but for P2. Nicolas Longuet in the Renault. Can he make that late lunge?
Closed
Not
his DRS.
Time.
He closed his DRS. He didn't want to overtake because he now wants to have the DRS again. The second dose, as we'll see right about now, as he opens his rear wing to try and get past Marcel Kiefer, who is really struggling at the moment.
And this is turning into pass or be pass, because we're getting a train of cars all on the same strategy, all on that medium tyre. And Longuet is getting close, but he's getting close in the wrong parts of the racetrack, if you like. In the wheel tracks, got the momentum, no ability to get past when he needs the confidence. I'm thinking turn number 1 or turn number 4. before. He doesn't appear to have it at this stage, and it is bringing Jarno Opmeer into this battle.
This is without a doubt the closest season we have ever had, Alex. The fact that Marcel Kiefer is at the front of a train in P2, and the back of that train is, well, pretty much Cedric Tomei in P17. So these guys are so close, and qualifying, it just reiterates my points from seasons gone by, how important qualifying is. And now that we have that new format, there's even more pressure for the drivers to perform not once, but 3 times, Q1, Q2, Q3. And Marcel Kiefer, he might not have the pace in the race, but he's very much in contention for a podium.
Well, let's just stay with this battle for the time being, because let's have a little look at what happened at the start of the race. This is our reigning champion, David Tunitsa, forced off the road, and a damage to his front wing as we go back to the live battle. So that's what happened to the reigning champion. This is the battle for P2, and finally, Nicolas Longuet has found a way through. He's passed Marcel Kiefer, and he really needed that if he was going to be in contention today, because look at the time he has lost whilst all of that is going on. Danny Beresne, 4.5 seconds down the road. At least Nicolas Longuet has recovered another place, though. The pole sitter now recovering from that difficult opening lap of the race and up to P2.
Interesting strategy from Tourmalet. He's pitted at least 2 laps earlier than Beresne, which might suggest that he's gone onto the harder compounded tyres, and Beresne's eking out this first stint on the softs to then go on the mediums later on. But I love it, Alex. This is brilliant. People might be wondering, how are some people on the softs? How are some people on the mediums? There's no Parc Fermé conditions from qualifying to the race. They can start on whatever tyre they wish, and that's making for some pretty almost Formula 2-esque kind of action. We've got 2 completely separate strategies at play here.
Yeah, this is always a race where tyres play an enormous part. Could we see that again today? We've got split strategies. We've had those deciding to go on the attack, now have to pick their way back through the field. Easier said than done. David Tunitsa, you can see, still 9 seconds off the back of the driver who made contact with him there. So good to be able to show you that a few seconds ago, what happened to our reigning champion, who needs a big dollop of luck to get out of that one. Marcel Kiefer is promoted because Danny Beresne has pitted from the lead of the race. The Hungarian driver has made his stop. Does he come out ahead of Johnny Tourmalet? That is the question. It looks right now as if we'll check in the background, but it looks good for him for the time being. Coming out of the pits, here is Danny Beresne. No, through goes Johnny Tourmalet, and so he came into the pits a few laps before, but it's not worked out for Danny Beresne, who loses the net race lead to Johnny Tourmalet, if that is, and it's a big if, that's the right strategy.
Yeah, Tourmalet on the mediums as well, so a very aggressive undercut strategy from Tourmalet, and it hasn't really paid off for him, in my opinion at least, because he hasn't cleared Beresne by a huge margin, and Beresne for the rest of this race will have much fresher tyres than Tourmalet. And then we've got this huge battle at the front, headed by Nicolas Longuet. Just look at the train, Alex, all the way down. This just further reiterates my point that the 2020 series is the closest we've ever seen.
No doubt about that. Fantastic stuff to see everyone so close. It's one lockup, it's one missed apex away from losing positions, and it's high-stakes stuff. Brilliant standard so far. The opening race of the championship, one led right now by Nicolas Longuet, but he had 2 cars ahead of him on the road, and they have both made their stop to change tyres. Now, let's see. Jarno Opmeer with the retro Michael Schumacher helmet. We see on board with him as Marcel Kiefer tries to retake the position that he lost, now for the race lead, of course. The drivers who are operating on that medium compound of tyre. Will it be the right way to go? Longuet, Kiefer, and then the driver we're on board with at turn number 4, Jarno Opmeer, a one-time race winner in the F1 Esports Pro Series. And he will be targeting, at the very least, a podium today. To make sure of that, though, he's got to clear the 2 cars in front.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy, these guys at the front, Longuet, Kiefer, Opmeer. It's almost like they understand that battling right now is not what they want. If they want to win this race, they need to work together, potentially not go side by side into turn 1 and lose lots of time side by side through turn 2 as well. So it seems, and I saw it a few laps ago as well, where Longuet didn't even want to overtake Kiefer at one point. So I feel like there's an understanding here that the race will be after the pit stops, when they're trying to hunt down the likes of Beresne and Tourmalet, because my insider sort of people that I know, Alex, they've told me that the medium to soft strategy is a little bit quicker because the softs are just that little bit better on low fuel. So let's see. We've got 11 laps to go. We could still have a fight on our hands.
So it's track position versus theoretical pace right now, and that is going to be something that the drivers have to deal with. Now, that's really interesting. That is very interesting indeed. Thought Nicolas Longuet was going to duck into the pits there. He's just trying to break the toe, and you can see why. Marcel Kiefer once again closing in, but not able, the German driver, to make his way through at the time being. Longuet, who passed Kiefer a few laps ago, does not have the pace on this tyre at all. And the train is closing in, and one of them is going ahead. Marcel Kiefer gets ahead into the race lead for the time being, and now it's going to be oh so close between the two of them as they sweep round into the right-hander, and it is Marcel Kiefer who's got that position.
Great move from Kiefer. They sold you the dummy, didn't they, down the straight, Alex? I thought they were pitting as well. I was thinking that's a very early pit stop. But yeah, Kiefer taking the provisional lead at the moment. It won't be after they stop. I'm very intrigued. Oh, big lock up into turn 10. One of the most horrendous corners in sim racing to try and get your braking right into there. But it looks like Longuet just struggling a little bit on these mediums now. Kiefer didn't look like he wanted to come past, but Longuet, with a little mistake, just pretty much allowed that to happen. And then they were side by side, but it's always time lost. Just look at those time intervals, Alex. You've got probably a maximum of 0.6 between the top 8. So there's a huge, huge opportunity for an undercut here from potentially a Brendan Lee or an Alvaro Carreton that fancies going just that one lap earlier to get onto the fresh tyres and try and jump the whole queue.
That is the task ahead of them at the moment as we work our way past
there you
the
go.
halfway station. Jarno Opmeer has decided to push the button early. He's gone early on, so let's deal with the overtaking on track, but that could be significant as he tries to go for the undercut. Now, this is a lap where these two could really cost each other time if they're not careful. This is not a lap to get in each other's way because one of their rivals for a position on the podium has pitted, is going to get that fresh rubber, and instead, Kiefer is having to go on the defensive as he now begins to struggle with that medium tyre.
Looking at the battle down the field as well for 10th and 11th, potentially for the race win. Beresnay and Tourmaler still only 0.4 of a second between them, so Tourmaler holding on nicely, even though he is struggling on those medium tyres. Well, towards the end of the race he will be anyway, but nice, as I mentioned in the quali show, spicy graphics for this year. I'm really enjoying these real-time graphics on screen. It's nice to see lots of info coming up, but right now, very, very aggressive strategy from the likes of Opmeer going onto the softs already. So I think we saw in that first stint, the guys only went 8 laps, I think, maximum. So they could be struggling towards the end.
Yeah, Opmeer in just his 13th start today, so that's a bit of a risk. Can he make it pay off? Marcel Kiefer with track position right now, running about the traditional length of stint that we would expect for this medium tyre. We're riding on board with the Renault entry of Nicolas Longuet, trying to win on just his 2nd start. He's already got 1 podium to his name. Do they respond? Yes, they both do. In comes Kiefer and Longuet, and this is going to be crucial. Who is going to find themselves out in this battle? Will Opmeer have jumped both of them as they make their crucial pit stops now?
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think we didn't actually see the Beresnay-Tourmaler overtake because Tourmaler came out ahead of Beresnay originally.
And you said it wasn't by enough. He has proved you right. He has found his way past, and Danny Beresnay up to 5th at the moment, but that will be for the race lead later on, we suspect. So
this is busy.
Oh, it's very, very tight indeed. So Beresnay, Tourmaler and Opmeer manages to jump the drivers he was racing. So Jarno Opmeer then up in 7th for the time being, but look at Longuet, he's in 13th right now. That is real frustration for Longuet. And we've got Marcel Kiefer in 10th. Let's check in with our driver in 5th place as we can see him making his way to turn number 10. 5th place, Danny Beresnay, and he's got track position.
Try and get as many cars as you can between yourself and Rasmussen. Good job.
There's Danny Beresnay then, in the position that he would want to be in, waiting for the others ahead to come into the pits. As we check in with Marcel Kiefer, who finds himself behind Jarno Opmeer and deciding to come in that 1 lap earlier. Has worked for Opmeer, who is up to 7th position with Rasmussen ahead of his teammate as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting as we come towards the latter stages of this race. You've got Otmir absolutely flying out there. Since I last looked, he's taken 0.6 of a second out of Tourmaler, and I think that was probably about half a lap. So it's not over just yet. Otmir might struggle towards the end of this race, but right now, very quick indeed on the soft tyres, as is Freddie Rasmussen setting the fastest lap of the race. There is Marcel Kiefer down in our bottom left, not blinking at all, which I don't blame him at all. Very much in the zone, fighting for a potential podium.
Now here's Longay trying to make a move on Caraton. The Williams driver has no defence, and Longay's got that done nice and early. You can see the difference between the tyre life, and that is going to, those now on the soft rubber know that they've got a compound advantage and they've got a tyre life advantage as well. And Danny Beresme and Johnny Tourmaler. Johnny Tourmaler came in so very early, didn't he, to put on that tyre. 6 laps old already as he tries to take that to the finish, and he's within DRS for the race leader at the moment. For Jarno Opmeer, for Rasmussen, for Kiefer and Longay, it's just all-out attack now to try and bridge that gap on the Redwood soft tyre.
Oh, and bridging is Opmeer, 3.2 seconds behind now. He is absolutely flying out there, which is, well, I said earlier, the medium to soft strategy is the quicker one. The soft tyres work very well on low fuel on this F1 2020 game. And I think Tourmaler could be under pressure to even stay on the podium here with the pace that Opmeer, Rasmussen, Kiefer are all showing. Rasmussen and Kiefer aren't going to fight each other. They're just going to help each other all the way. Using the DRS as Brendan Lee now trying to get past James Baldwin, who pitted earlier on that medium strategy, so he's going to be struggling with the soft tyres, soft tyre runners around him.
And it's a simple pass for Brendan Lee. The 2-time champion finds his way past on the softer compounded tyre and makes his way up the hill, now in 8th position. Half a second between Beresne and Tourmaler, but now look at that gap again. Jarno Opmeer has got that gap down every single lap that he has run on those soft tyres. It is now 2.4 seconds, and he is on the charge.
Yeah, really interesting, because Opmeer was probably 6-7 seconds behind Beresne Tourmaler before he pit in terms of net gap. So, well, those soft tyres are working incredibly well. We've got Kiefer looking like the slightly stronger Red Bull driver at the moment in P4 and 5. Here is Joni Tourmaler. He lied to me. He lied to us about the fact he said he'd never shave until he next time he wins. That is very much a clean-shaven face. But if he wins now, I'll forgive him.
I'm glad.
It's almost like a preempted shave, right?
Yeah, I'm shaving today because I'm going to win the race. And right now, as he makes his way to the final corner, he looks like he is in a position to do so, but did he choose the right strategy? Because Jarno Opmeer, and not only Opmeer, Rasmussen as well, are closing in. These two are battling over first position. Matt has already talked about working together to try and make the strategy work. He's not thinking about that at the moment. He just wants P1 and worry about it later on, because he is getting closer and closer. Johnny Tourmaler, who has Danny Beresne, this 5-time winner, directly ahead of him. And Tourmaler looking for his first, well, he's been to the podium 4 times, but never on the top step, trying to put that right. And you can see at the last lap, he was over a 10th faster. That counts for a lot in the fine margins of the F1 Esports Pro Series in 2020.
Yeah, Danny Beresne will be probably a little bit disappointed with himself that he wasn't able to extend that gap to Tourmaler, considering he has 2-lap fresher tyres on those mediums. But right now, I'm more concerned about where Opmeer and Rasmussen are in this equation, because I feel like, well, you can see in the mirrors that Opmeer are 1 second behind Tourmaler. We have got a big fight on our hands.
Let's listen in then to the race leader, Danny Beresne, coming under pressure.
Jarno, if you overtake us, don't pull away from DRS, please.
Yeah. If you can get out of Tourmaler's DRS, they'll be mega, but because that makes my life a lot easier.
So I'm not surprised he is feeling that way at the moment, because he is coming under pressure from his teammate, who's bridged a sizable gap in the last few laps. We're on board with Marcel Kiefer. Rasmussen ahead. These two teammates look like they're about to go wheel to wheel. And this soft tyre advantage is paying off for the time being. Kiefer on his teammate, doesn't risk the late lunge. And that's a wide moment for Rasmussen. It's going to leave him very vulnerable indeed as they go up the hill. That's the race lead for Danny Berezne, Johnny Tormala, and now it's going to be a 3-car battle. Kiefer did find his way through to 4th. Did he keep the position? Wait for it. I think he did, ahead of his teammate Freddie Rasmussen. And now it's a 3-car battle. The 2 Alfa Romeos and the Alpha Tauri. Tormala, who's had the advantage, and has he got any tyres left? That's the big question. Marcel Kiefer in 4th position, now being chased by Freddie Rasmussen. And we can, on the back straight here from Berezne, and he is having his teammate for company as well as Johnny Tormala right now.
I think ideally, Danny, you'd be in front by the time Jarno arrives.
I'm not sure. It's going to be hard to overtake Tormala for me.
So Berezne, Tormala, Otmir, but will it finish that way? Because Otmir has the tyre advantage, but can he make it work? Car off the road was the Williams of Caraton in the background there. He has rejoined though, so nothing too dramatic, but that might not be the case. We will look to the front in a few moments' time, I am sure, because Jarno Otmir within striking distance. He's not the only one. Longuet closing in on Rasmussen right now, but we understandably go back to the top 3. If anything, Johnny Tormala looks closer to Berezne than Otmir looks to Tormala as they go up the hill once again. So the top 2 on the medium tyre. And then can Jarno Otmir make his tyre advantage pay here? He's going to have to do it late on. We're on lap 17 of 20. The strategy's meeting in the middle, but he's gone past the obvious overtaking opportunity. Anything in this part of the lap would be very opportunistic indeed. Thought he was going to go for the lunge just as I said that, but he's still waiting there. He knows he's got the right tyres, but has he kept them in? That's a big question for him as well.
Yeah, crucial laps here for Otmir. He has to make the moves now because those soft tyres are going to start to really hurt in these last couple of laps. He needs to make the move, otherwise he's going to get stuck in this train with Berezne at the front of it. But it's so difficult for Otmir to get past because Tormala has DRS as well on Berezne. So right now, Otmir has to use that grip advantage that he has to make just a dive bomb move that we saw from Berezne on lap 1. That's the only way to try and catch Tormala by surprise. You can see how close it is. It's tantalisingly close. It could be a move, Alex. It very much could. Otmir's so close, 0.3 of a second back, but still DRS to defend. Tormala has.
That lock-up and not particularly helpful for Johnny Tormala, who for so long would have been dreaming of that first ever win in the F1 Esports Pro Series, and instead now he's defending for 3rd because Jarno Otmir is pulling out of the wheel tracks alongside and going ahead under braking. That's one of them cleared. Jarno Otmir just has his teammate ahead, and if he can get past him, he's going to win the opening race of the year. He's got DRS, he's got 1 car up to 2nd place. Can he shape for the lead? It's always more pressure when it's your teammate. Fresh, soft rubber up against the old mediums right now. Otmir in the box seat, but can he pull off the move to take the win here?
What a start for the Alfa Romeo drivers. This is the dream opportunity for them, but the managers, everyone in the esports team are going to be having some pretty shaky legs right now. A 1-2 in the bag, but will Berezne let Otmir through? He's clearly quicker, but it's pride on stake. Danny Berezne wants to mount a championship challenge, and he's got Jarno Otmir right behind him.
Penalty for Simon Weigang, a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit warnings. And that's the driver down in 19th position, so not his race this time around in the Haas. His teammate Cedric Tomei only up in 16th position. Meanwhile, at the front, what sort of exit is Jarno Otmir going to get? The driver who has the 1 win to his name, 5 podiums, will tell you his pedigree. He's got a 5-time race winner directly ahead, and these two are about to duel for the lead. Oh, he's got so much momentum now. Jarno Otmir is going past. He's sailing past his teammate and through into the race lead. He's called the strategy perfectly right now as Kiefer makes a move in the background to take P3. So Kiefer could be a threat. Will Berezne be able to fight back? I very much doubt it. Jarno Otmir in a brilliant position to win the opening race of the year.
Whoever called him just the hot lapper. He's clearly got the racecraft as well. He's made that medium soft strategy work perfectly. His pace on those soft tyres has been nothing short of incredible. Danny Berezne and Johnny Tormala on a very aggressive medium strategy. You can see there's only 5 drivers on the mediums at the moment, which clearly shows that the medium softs is the preferential strategy. But right now, 1-2 is very much on the cards, but Marcel Kiefer looking very quick as well on those soft tyres. There's Jarno Otmir. Well, He looks like he's under a bit of pressure, but he's only got a couple of laps to go.
I think he's getting closer and closer to that steering wheel with every lap that he errs towards victory at the moment. This is a brilliant performance to call the strategy the right way, to decide to go for that undercut, and then to pull it off, clear the traffic, get down a gap that was enormous, down from about 4 seconds to 3 to 2 to 1, to pass not just one car but two, including his teammate, and he is about to head on to the 20th and last lap with his teammate behind him. It could be a dream start to the season, but there's DRS for Dani Bereznay. Has he left enough in the tyres? 0.2 of a second. We're on to the last lap in Bahrain. Is the move? Not this time from Bereznay, and that is one of the chances gone for him. If Jarno Opmeer can get to turn number 4 in the lead, he has got a brilliant opportunity now, and I think he's done enough. He's got the tyre advantage, and if they don't go off the cliff, he is surely sailing on by as Bereznay, always the latest on the brakes, said he just about kept it behind, but in trying to battle his teammate, he might have opened the door for Marcel Kiefer.
Yeah, I think that was a team strap from Bereznay to not go for that move. I think anybody else, and Bereznay sending that into turn 1, but right now it's a very good choice for Bereznay not to do that, because Kiefer is all over the back of him. Bereznay is really struggling on those medium tyres. Can he get it slowed down in turn 10? Just about. You can see the car just slowly rotating, squirming. But we're on the last lap. Bereznay just trying to hold on to P2 at the moment as Tanitsa sets the fastest lap.
Wow, Tanitsa showing that he's fairly... Well, he had the pace today, and he will be so disappointed. Now, here we go with Jarno Opmeer, and Jarno Opmeer then has just a couple of corners to go as he lines up the victory. It's not by a huge margin, but it's by enough. For just the second time in the F1 Esports Pro Series, it's Jarno Opmeer who gets the flag first. Jarno Opmeer wins the opening race of the year.
Executed perfectly, guys.
Outstanding stuff, boys. Awesome. Masterclass. Awesome stuff, guys.
Sit down, Team Ranger.
Wow, fantastic stuff. Understandably delighted. What a brilliant race victory for Jarno Opmeer.
It absolutely was. Completely measured, so quick on the soft tyres, and, well, a big statement, it has to be said, Alex. There's the results right now. 1/10 of a second. But what a dream start for Alfa Romeo. I mean, they were quite disappointed last year after not having a bit of luck go their way, but we knew they were quick. We knew Opmeer and Bereznay would be a big, big team, and they proved it here.
Kiefer in third, and then Tourmiller, Longuet, Rasmussen, Lee, Moreno, Caraton, and Lucas Blakely, the last of the point scorers. You can see those who just missed out, including Bono Ruiz, who had a good run through from the back of the field, James Baldwin, then Benito, Salton, and then Bian Collier, who was involved in that clash with Tanitsa, Tomei, Haddad, Weigang, Donoso, and David Tanitsa, the reigning champion, off to the worst possible start, you have to say.
Wow, what a start to the 2020 competition in the F1 Esports Pro Series. Listen, before we delve into it, I want to know, Nick Hamilton, what did you make of that Alfa Romeo performance?
Yeah, what a perfect strategy from Alfa Romeo. Let's take a look at it and go through it from the start of the race. So we're riding on board with Dani Bereznay on the soft tyre, getting a fantastic start right behind Nicolas Longuet. Longuet goes defensive, and it looks like Bereznay is going down the outside, but Longuet is there, really close wheel-to-wheel action there, and Longuet just about holds on. It looks like he might have the ground into turn 2, but Bereznay, late lunge right on the inside, just making the apex. What a fantastic move there. And Tourmiller actually taking the lead from them both. Now, this is Bereznay again on the charge and going past Tourmiller. And now it's Jarno Opmeer looking menacing here, going down the inside of Tourmiller, and that puts him into P2 as he's on the back of Dani Bereznay. And then this is now the perfect strategy for Alfa Romeo, in control, and now that is Jarno Opmeer taking the lead. What a fantastic result for the team. And back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Nick. Brilliantly explaining about how good Alfa Romeo were there. Interestingly, they had a successful day. David Tonitza, reigning champion. Very unfortunate. Not the best qualification for him, P12.
Yep.
And then, I know that you have a target on your back if you win a championship, but Bianco Lila took him out.
Yeah, quite literally, a target on his back. Yeah, I mean, as you say, a poor quali for him, and he was running P12 when this happened. Last year's champion, he also won, obviously, in Bahrain and China in 2019, and it's hugely disappointing for him. But, you know, did prove that he had the race pace. He put in the fastest lap after it, a bit of fire in his belly after the frustration of being taken out. A bit of a Hulkenberg moment, going down to P20 and then trying to fight his back way through the field.
Yeah, but it just goes to show, just unfortunate there, not the best qualification, but at the same time, if it hadn't happened against Bianchi Lilly, he could have been fighting for a place. Brilliant from Bono Huis. Also, a debut for Danny Moreno, finishing in 8th, which is fantastic for him and the McLaren team. So some exciting performances from guys.
Absolutely, and they'll be wanting to put these performances now at this stage of the season, statements of intent for the rest of, you know, these 12 races are going to fly by. We're doing 2 in this event alone, another one again tomorrow. So, yeah, they've all got to lay down the markers early. As we know, the margins are minuscule between them.
But they are indeed. Listen, a perfect start for Alfa Romeo under the lights in Bahrain. But how will they get on around the streets of Hanoi? We'll find out after the break with the first ever Vietnam Grand Prix. All right then, welcome back to the F1 Esports Pro Series, supported by Aramco, where Jarno Opmeer has led an Alfa Romeo 1-2 in the first race of 2020 in Bahrain. Starting for the 5th place, his teammate Danny Berezny let the Dutchman pass him to get that win. I mean, listen, incredible stuff there. We're heading to Hanoi now, the first ever Vietnam Grand Prix. We've talked about Alfa Romeo. I'm interested to know your thoughts. Marcel Kiefer brought in as kind of the number 2 to Freddie Rasmussen, but outperforming him. Are we used to that in the real life racing?
Well, I guess it's the equivalent of Charles Leclerc going to Sebastian Vettel's team at Ferrari and outperforming him. You know, Kiefer's got 1 win to Rasmussen's 4. He's got 5 podiums to Rasmussen's 12. So yeah, he's unsettling him, and that's great. And just on Alfa Romeo, I mean, what an opener for them. In stark contrast to the fortunes of their team in Formula One, you'd have to say.
Yeah, indeed. A 1 and 2 punch. Natalie, stay there. I'll be talking about Hanoi in just a moment. Let's head over here. Let's do a walk and talk. Why not? Listen, Nick Hamilton, I want to talk to you about the Hanoi track. We've never seen a race there. We're going there. What makes it, or what is going to make it so special for these drivers to race on?
Well, firstly, it's so technical. It's pretty much got everything you want. Slow speed, high speed, medium speed corners, really long straight, so it could be a perfect circuit for overtaking. But it's really tight. You've got, you know, brick walls basically staring the drivers in the face if they make a mistake, so anything can happen at Hanoi.
OK, it was left and right. You broke it down. The qualifying happened. Q1, I was just waiting to someone to hit the wall. But when you look at this, Danny Berezny, after such a good race in Bahrain, just didn't quite deliver.
Yeah, what a shame for him. You can see how much that meant to him. Disastrous qualifying for him. That puts him down in P18. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, how he can come back from that. But yeah, very vocal.
The passion. You could see the passion on his face. Q2. So we were talking about earlier on in the qualifying show about locking into the corners, but that just said they're pushing it on the limits. But Otmir, again, we talk about being a hot lapper, but he was incredible.
Yeah, we know what he can do, and he's showing that and proving that to his team. A great lap there from him. It's really interesting to see how he just keeps improving his laps always. Yeah, great Q2 from him.
Yeah, Q3. That man there, Nicolas Longuet, just showing what, moving for Red Bull, going to Renault, just showing that potential he has and now delivering when it matters.
Yeah, he looks so relaxed, and a second pole in a row for him.
Yeah. However, he actually exceeded track limits. So we're seeing these celebrations, but as always, adjudication goes on behind the scenes here at the Gfinity Arena, and therefore he's dropped down into 5th. That was his next best lap. So now, actually, not in pole position, as you will see, Nick, that man again, Jarno Opmeer, and a return to a bit of form for David Tonitza with Freddie Rasmussen in 3rd and Enzo Benito in 4th. Nicolas Longuet dropping out to 5th, and a return a little bit to Brendan Lee's form, because he said 2019 was disappointing. He didn't win the title, and he's come back stronger. But some sort of surprises there in some respect, or as we'd expect from that.
Yeah, no, it's great to see Tonitza back up there. Marcel Kiefer's not going to be too happy with P9. And obviously, James Baldwin doing a good job, I would say, P12. It's going to be a really interesting race. Bernard Ruiz, again, not the greatest of results from him in qualifying, but we know he did a good job on the first lap at Bahrain, so let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and we just saw they passed by the screen Michael Romanidis for the Williams team, becoming the youngest ever F1 esports driver. So there we go. Listen, this is going to be an epic second race, the first time ever we're going to the Vietnam Grand Prix. And that man, Jarno Opmeer, he's on pole. Right then, welcome back to the F1 Pro Series presented by Aramco. The F1 drivers missed out on the inaugural Vietnam Grand Prix this year, so it's going to get its debut right here in the Pro Series. Natalie, what can we expect from this Grand Prix?
I don't know, because we haven't been there yet. Okay. We were all gutted when COVID put pay to us going there in April, but we do know that it's a Herman Tilke circuit. It's a hybrid of public roads and man-made sections, probably most comparable to somewhere like Baku. Azerbaijan Grand Prix always serves up a treat, so I think we're in for one today.
Okay, brilliant. Well, listen, in terms of the dicey, spicy areas that we've seen in qualify, this is set to be beautiful. Let's rejoin our casters, Matt Gallagher and Alex Jakes.
Thank you very much. Tom, this one, well, it's a first. It is a first, isn't it? Racing on the streets of Hanoi, and we started the year with Virtual Grand Prix. It's time to take the Pro Series around the streets of Vietnam. Really looking forward to this one. Matt, it's going to be something unexpected.
Well, I thought Tom would say the word spicy. There we have it. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the drivers tackle this incredibly difficult Hanoi circuit. Rather them than me, to be honest, because it just looks very difficult. Needle in the haystack kind of stuff, threading it through. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. 1.5 kilometre long straight is going to, hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, provide us with some great action on lap 1.
Yeah, the drivers think the slipstream is going to be absolutely enormous. The third and final part of the racetrack is basically Suzuka with walls. It is very, very fast. It is flowing, but it is very easy to make a mistake. Could be extremely dangerous indeed on that opening lap, and there are plenty in the field who need to get things right. But I'm thinking of Otmar on pole once again. I mean, he has started this season so well.
So strong. It's going to be a bit of a blow for Alfa Romeo having Beresnay down in 18th. Really intrigued to see how he fares. And, well, we've seen how close it was in Bahrain. And just, if you're on the wrong end of a really long train, it's very difficult to make some moves. Here's David Tonitza starting on the front row of the grid. He'll be looking to get his campaign underway after a really disappointing Bahrain. Probably not his fault, just got caught up in an incident. These things happen. It's not what happened last year, though. Tonitza was always bagging points.
And that is the problem if you get things wrong in qualifying, something that Danny Beresnay uncharacteristically did. He is the driver at risk in the middle of the field. As we have 5 red lights on in Hanoi, we are underway for the second race of the year. Otmar away from pole, Tonitza trying to close him down as we head to turn number 1, and it is David Tonitza, last year's champion, who gets into the lead. He makes his way through this sweeping start to the lap with Otmar, then Longuet, Benito, Brendan Lee fighting his way up to 5th. It's very tight on the exit there. Rasmussen having to get out of it. That could leave him very vulnerable indeed, because there's debris all over the road there as they make their way down to the first of 2 very long straights indeed. The straight wasn't long enough for Jarno Otmar to try and reclaim the lead. Tonitza, after that disappointment in Bahrain, doing what he needed to and claiming P1.
Yeah, lots of aggressive strategies. I think a lot of the front runners are on the soft compounder tyres. It seems as though Freddie Rasmussen is the first of the medium runners. We are now down this incredibly long straight. Surely Otmar is going to have a great chance on Tonitza.
He's going to try and go to the inside line right about now. Will that work for him? Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There's the breaking point, and squeezing him to the apex is Tonitza, who doesn't want to give that one up, and with a move like that, he won't have to. But there's another long straight coming his way. Look at the effect that you've got, and now you get in to essentially what is Maggots and Beckett's over and over and over again. It gets tighter and tighter as they build up speed. No margin for error, and definitely no way through.
Look at the intensity on Jarno Otmar's face. He is absolutely dialed in. Currently running in P2 at the moment. Tonitza, great defence down to that hairpin after the long 1.5 kilometre straight. We've got Daniele Haddad has now made a move on Freddie Rasmussen, who's on those medium compounded tyres. Right now Tonitza is where he wants to be, but it's going to be very difficult to hold on to that first place.
Well, he set the fastest lap of the race a few moments ago in Bahrain. He's got the fastest lap of the race, but this time, crucially, in the lead. A opening lap of real purpose for the driver that took the title last year. You saw him with his mascot ready to race, and he has got an advantage for the time being as the drivers, well, they feel their way through a new circuit to us, Matt, but they will have put in so many hours around here.
Oh, ridiculous amount of hours. They're known as aliens. They spend their entire day, every day. It's their full-time job to be as quick and as consistent as you possibly can. Lots of leaves being blown onto the circuit. It's great to see that natural element to the F1 2020 game by Codemasters. Here's Brendan Lee on Enzo Benito.
Now, he's going for that late move to the inside. It's something that Tonitza was able to repel. Can the other Ferrari do that? It seems if you just keep your foot around there, no, that's a nicer move from Brendan Lee. He knew what was coming, squeezes his rival and takes 4th position with a move that gets him into play for the race at the front of the field. Remember, Frederick Rasmussen, Matt pointed out that he was the first runner on that yellow-walled medium tyre. Right now he is heading backwards in 8th position. So he's gone a different way with the strategy at the moment. He's just trying to hang on to 8th.
Yeah, Longue's had a good start as well. As you can see, started P5 after originally having pole position, now up to P3 already. Very much in the fight for the win here in this 19-lap race around Hanoi. There's, well, he's shaking his head, is Nicolas Longue. Was he listening to us there, Alex? Does he not think he's got a chance to win? But
I hope he's not listening to us with the level of intensity required.
Incredibly distracting.
Yeah, certainly would be. Opening section of the lap based on the Nürburgring of all places, where we have just been in Formula One. That's where the opening few corners are based on, but unlike the Nürburgring, it's all completely flat, then flat to the floor for a while before they make their way around what used to be a roundabout, which gives the corner its complexion, and then on to the it's crucial to get a good exit here because it's such a long straight afterwards.
That's a great camera angle we just saw there. That's brilliant. Brendan Lee looking very feisty indeed, all over the back of Nicolas Longue at the moment. So it's interesting to see the drivers thinking that the soft to medium strategy is a bit more aggressive, a bit faster, you'd have to say, if the guys right at the front are going for it. But keep an eye on Freddie Rasmussen, who's lost another position now to Bono Huis, down to 9th. So really struggling on those medium compound tyres at the moment. And the soft very much still in the working window. But David Tonitza doing a pretty good job to maintain P1 for now.
This is tough stuff. Any lack of grip around this part of the circuit and you are going to be in trouble. You can see this fantastic direction change, but no runoff, no gravel, just wall staring you in the face as they get their way towards the end of the lap. I love this final corner because it's so tight, and yet you have to carry so much speed, otherwise you compromise your exit. Onto the pit straight where we find ourselves right now on lap number 4. Jarno Opmeer, who brilliantly attacked to win the race in Bahrain, finds himself in between two very fast customers. Tonitza, knowing for his championship challenge, he's got a lot of points to make up against his nearest rival in the race, and the driver who took the early lead in the championship with 25 to his account with that victory in Bahrain. Exactly the same point system as real life. Formula One right now, they seem to be feeling their way into this one, don't they?
Yeah, no need for any do-or-die moves at this stage of the race. Just a quick word on Danny Beresne. You can see how important qualifying is. As fast as he is, and almost winning the race in Bahrain, he's only managed to make up a couple of positions, up to P16, and very much struggling to make his way through the field at the moment. Can he manage to get himself into the points by the end of this race? He's going to need an aggressive undercut. Here comes Opmeer, though, on Tonitza. Very close indeed into the hairpin, but nothing doing for now. These guys, as you say, measuring themselves, just kind of working out. It's all come down to the pit stops, really, Alex. This is where, you know, someone, and we saw it in the Bahrain race, where a couple of drivers went for a more aggressive strategy. Opmeer was one of them, went onto the softs a lap earlier than some of the other drivers, and then eventually won the race.
Two-time winner Jarno Opmeer in just his 13th start. That was his second win. This is start number 14 in the championship. This first event that covers 3 races spread across 2 days. David Tonitza trying to add another one to his account. He's a 3-time race winner last year on the way to the championship. He now has to respond to a non-score in the opening race of the year due to contact on the opening lap. And he'll be very keen to avoid that. Was prepared to risk it though, wasn't he? Was prepared to squeeze his rival to the inside, could easily have been contact again, and that is how desperate he is to strike back and win this race.
That's what I like to see. Don't want any measured approaches here for the spectacle. We want dive bombs, we want overtakes. Tonitza, all kinds of out of shape into that right-left. And another quick word on Bono Huis. He would be a man on a mission right now if he could sort out his qualifying, I think. If my memory serves correct, he started P15, running in 8th at the moment. So his race pace is there, just needs to sort out qualifying.
Opmeer getting a brilliant run here. Tonitza's going to have to pick a side. He might not be able to defend. Jarno Opmeer, winner of the first race of the year, takes the lead of the second. Easy move for him as he gets to the hairpin first, and he will now try and build a gap. What a start to the campaign for Jarno Opmeer, and he is pulling clear now of last year's champion.
Oh, this is going to come down to the last lap by the looks of things, because Tonitza's still there or thereabouts with Opmeer, only 0.3 of a second behind coming through these, well, I mean, it's such a technical circuit, and with the dirty air, so difficult to follow the cars. But David Tonitza holding on nicely. If Jarno Opmeer gets to that second gap, manages to escape the DRS that Tonitza will be able to use, that's when we can start thinking about Jarno Opmeer being on the top step of the podium. But right now, I don't think Tanitsa's too bothered. He's relaxed. He's in P2. It's a good position to be in. He can use the DRS. He can save his ERS, more importantly, for F1 2020. It's a lot more simplified, so it was a little bit confusing to understand last year. But this time, Codemasters have made it so it's either Mode 2, which is medium, or Mode 4, which is overtake. So it's a simple one button to change the mode, and it's made the drivers' lives a bit easier.
No complaints from them, I imagine, given how much they have to do. Take a look at the bottom of your screen right now, and the driver in second place just trying to make sure that Otmir doesn't double up, make it 2 in a row, and build more points in the championship. You can see it was a very, very impressive set of laps from Otmir to manage to get himself up into the lead of the race. And now 0.3 of a second is the build, but it was up to 0.6 in that opening sector, so work to do for Tanitsa. Longuet there, close once again. The driver who thought he was going to start on pole position, instead relegated due to a penalty, and trying to score another podium today would be his second in just 3 race starts. He's looked rapid over 1 lap. There isn't really a question to answer about race pace, but he will want to prove nice and early on with that Renault team that he is capable of striking back. He seems to be going slightly wide there.
The pits.
Donoso has gone into the pits. Intriguingly, when you take that line, it sends you up the order and then back down again.
I was literally just about to say, do you know what I want, Alex?
Go on.
An undercut. I want someone to go for an aggressive strategy, and Fabrizio Donoso has read my mind. He is one of the first to pit. He's going for that aggressive undercut strategy. He was on the back of this train for the lead. So let's see, can it work? I mean, it's an undercut. He's come out in pretty decent gap, 7.6 seconds to Simon Weigang, so he's got a pretty decent, well, even more now, a good amount of clean air to really push on these fresh tyres now. Where will Donoso come out when everyone pits?
Danny Beresne, you can see, also in the pits as well. Driver who figured so brilliantly in that first race of the season, undone by poor qualifying. And you can see the train of cars right now. If you're in DRS zone, then you are going to find yourself in a long train of cars. Everyone's very, very tight. David Tanitsa's out braking Jarno Opmeer. David Tanitsa's retaking the lead, and he is, it's going to get worse for Opmeer, because to the inside and up to second place goes Nicolas Longuet. Longuet now looking to try and take P1, but Opmeer, he broke clear, wasn't by enough, and 2 get past him as we see another change of lead.
If these guys start battling, Fabrizio Donoso is going to be rubbing his hands. He's only a couple of seconds behind these guys, as I imagine they'll be diving into the pits. There goes Nicolas Longuet and Tanitsa, most of them coming into the pits now.
And Otmir as well, the basis of his race win in Bahrain was going off strategy compared to everyone else, going the lap earlier. He's pitted at the same time as the drivers he is racing for the win here, so he's not feeling the need to do anything different as they get rid of the softs and they put on the mediums.
Yeah, busy pit lane, so the drivers are going to hope that they're not going to get caught up in their pit box. I think the Alpha was held just a slight bit there.
And it's as they were for...
Oh, there's Donoso. Look, Fabrizio Donoso is going to take the lot of them.
Donoso ahead at the moment, and we wait for the shot that confirms what Matt has just said. We're waiting to see whether Donoso made it.
Slower section.
It's that pit exit that has taken them back ahead. And Tanitsa Longuet, but Donoso crucially did jump Jarno Opmeer with that aggressive undercut, and he was a couple of seconds behind. That really does work very powerfully indeed.
Yeah, that sold me a little bit down the down the river, that one, but hey-ho, Donoso still making up positions with that undercut, and 1 lap older tyres isn't going to hurt his race hugely, especially if he can stay in the DRS of his teammate Longuet ahead of him. Right now, advantage Tanitsa. Can he somehow break that 1 second window? We've got Brendan Lee and Enzo Benito carrying on out in front. Lee loves an alternate strategy, going longer, having fresher tyres towards the end. He doesn't like to follow the pack, Alex.
No, he's doing something different because right now he has to do something different. So we've already seen the undercut, and now they come in at the same time as well, slamming on the brakes, knowing that they're getting rid of these tyres, and then look at how glacially slow this looks, waiting and waiting and waiting as the top 3 now come into the pits to promote Bono Huis to the race lead, and we check in with Benito's pit stop.
got held there.
He did.
Quite savagely, actually. So Enzo's going to be rather frustrated with that one. Brendan Lee quite a way down the pit lane. Let's see where he filters out.
So David Tunitsa, who lost the lead at one point, has done the hard work as they come back out onto the circuit, and going that lap longer has not paid off for Brendan Lee and Enzo Benito, who exit the pits behind as they were before. The big winner there, Donoso, with that aggressive undercut. At one point we thought it got him into the race lead. It's got him into the podium positions at the moment, and we are waiting to see the pit stops from Huis, from Kiefer, from Tourmalet, from Bian Collier, from Romanidas, Caraton, Weigang, and then we get to the teammate of this man, which is David Tunitsa, Nicolas Longuet. He will feel that he was wrongly robbed of pole position. Usually, if a driver feels that way, it ends in two ways. Brilliant battle back to the head of the field, or he rips a wing or a wheel off. What's it going to be? Right now, it's a super move from Nicolas Longuet to take Tunitsa, and when the others ahead come into the pits, that could well be for the race lead.
Wonderfully measured on the brakes. Such a hard braking zone after a 1.5 kilometre straight. And Nicolas Longuet judges it perfectly. Now he's got a bit of a job on his hands by getting through the drivers that are yet to pit, Simon Weigang being the first of those. Can he dispatch of him pretty quickly? That's going to be crucial as we see Bono Huis, Kiefer, Biancalila all coming into the pits now to come onto the soft tyres. Huis will be one to watch in this second half of the race.
Well, as you said, it's the one lap pace that's really undoing things for him at the moment. Race pace, he is very, very strong. And we are seeing them come into the pit. So it's lap 10 of 19. It's flying by. And this 2020 F1 Esports Pro Series is proving very entertaining indeed. We've had 3 different race leaders, net race leaders. When the others eventually come into the pits, it's going to promote Nicolas Longuet, or will it? Because David Tunitsa has the DRS right now, which every single driver behind has as well. And Brendan Lee actually coming up to the back of Otmar. Otmar staying with Donoso, and Donoso putting pressure on Tunitsa ahead. What a multi-car battle we have for victory here.
Longuet, Tunitsa, Donoso, Otmar, Lee, all fighting for the victory here around Hanoi, which it just highlights how crazy this 2020 season is when you've got the likes of Marcel Kiefer, Danny Beresne, 14th and 13th respectively. It is anybody's game as Tunitsa gets so close into the hairpin, but nothing doing this time. Nicolas Longuet has it covered for now.
For now being key. We saw earlier on that Tunitsa took a couple of laps to come back. You need to build those laps, you need to get closer before you can make the move. It's not pass and repass lap after lap. It requires a lot of skill in the other parts of the lap, like right now, the technical section that they have made their way to at this incredible end to the lap where it is very, very fast between turns 13 and 19, and then the sweeps get slightly larger before they go to these classic Hermann Tilke 90-degree corners to end the lap. Let's check in right now with Frederik Rasmussen, who is currently in 11th place.
Well, threw that race in the trash.
Well, he is not happy. Thinks they've thrown the race away there. Started in 3rd place and currently finding himself in 9th. As we go back to David Tunitsa trying to close down Nicolas Longuet. Close but not close enough.
Yeah, slightly out of sorts for Freddie Rasmussen. It's almost as though him under the lights was a better kind of environment for him. I feel like he's been a bit out of sorts at the moment, currently running in P8. We're so used to seeing him battling right at the front, and he's dropped off a little bit from the fight, the train for the lead. Longuet, Tunitsa, Donoso, Otmar, Lee. Brendan Lee very much still on the prowl, it has to be said, as is Donoso, who did a very aggressive undercut strategy. He's got himself very much in the mix. There he is in the bottom left. Great to have him back in the series after finishing runner-up in the first ever F1 Esports Pro Series, and he's back for some more.
He is back for some more, and he's hungry for victory. Also, if we take Bahrain as a benchmark, we know what's going to happen to those medium tyres. If he's going to make moves, he's got to make moves early on to try and hang on to that track position later on, because he did go for a very aggressive undercut, and it worked for him brilliantly. Saw that one coming as a bit of a lock-up as he makes his way towards the end of the lap. That's the penultimate corner, and this is the final corner of the circuit. as they cut the beam once again. Lap 12 of 19. Now Nicolas Longuet, our third different leader today, trying to claim his first victory in the F1 Esports Pro Series. He's been on the podium before. This is only his third race. He's had one pole position, had another pole position taken away. Certainly not boring being Nicolas Longuet, is it? He has left Red Bull. He has gone to Renault, and he's got David Tonitza and his teammate between him and victory.
What an exciting lineup Renault have this year. Longuet and Donoso, first and third at the moment. Very close to the 1-2 that the Alfa Romeo team achieved in Bahrain. But unfortunately for them, David Tonitza is very much in the middle of this sandwich, and I'm sure he will not want to give up that position easily after a no score in Bahrain. This is crucial for David Tonitza and his title hopes. Not that I'm writing them off just yet, but the key to Tonitza's 2019 campaign was always in the points and always scoring. He had quite a few wins at the start, but he was always in the top 5, just collecting points and then taking the championship by the end of the season. And this is more of a Tonitza performance that we've come and expected to see.
Right now, we can see, looking for Fabrizio Donoso, looking for a trip to the podium. And he was another driver who did it on consistency when he ran to a decent finishing position in the opening year of the championship. It's Longuet, Tonitza, Donoso, Opmeer, Brendan Lee. You can see very, very similar, Tonitza and Donoso, with the age of tyre that they're on for the time being, as they cut the beam once again. Lap 13 of 19, half a second between Longuet and Tonitza. Tonitza trying to take win number 4, and Longuet trying to take win number 1.
Oh, interestingly, Bono Huis was actually on the soft tyres. With how long he went on that first stint, I assumed he was on the mediums, but he's actually running the mediums now. Freddie Rasmussen is running in P6 and making some decent ground up on the soft tyres, so there's more than enough time for him to start challenging this front queue of cars that we've currently got. Jarno Opmeer, as you can see, started first, but now down to 4th, so easily can happen in this series when there are thousandths of a second between these drivers. But Freddie Rasmussen, you can see the gap coming down, mini sector by mini sector. He's about to join this party.
Jarno Opmeer really unlucky with the way that he was looking like he was building close to breaking out of DRS range as Donoso shapes for a move and can't do anything about it. As he's almost nudging Tonitza to get through the corner, get on with it, because I've got Opmeer all over the back of me. And Donoso right now, they're as they were. And the driver who is living with this pressure, now at 8.5 tenths of a second clear. And that's Nicolas Longuet, who is nearly out of DRS range, and that could change things enormously. Tonitza we follow then. The reigning champion, the driver who's scored 7 podiums before, looking for podium number 8. That's the least that he wants out of this second race of the season. And we go for the third race of the season to Shanghai tomorrow. But who will go there as our winner? We've already had Opmeer this year. Will it be Longuet? Will it be Tonitza? Will it be Donoso joining Jarno Opmeer, or can he double up? Right now, it feels like we're feeling our way to the end of the race. It's well poised. It's been well poised for a while, in fairness. Can Longuet break clear? Is he taking too much out of the tyres? Can Tonitza launch a late attack? Not long to wait to find out.
Enter Freddie Rasmussen, P6, 4 tenths of a second behind Brendan Lee. He needs to start making some moves before his soft tyres start to go off by the end of this race. He needs to utilise the extra grip that he has, but it's so difficult with how long this straight is, and the defence that all of these drivers have in front of him with the use of DRS means that Freddie Rasmussen's going to have to send it pretty hard indeed. But it looks like Brendan Lee's the one that's closer to Jarno Opmeer coming into this hairpin just ahead. Fabrizio Donoso still looking very strong despite the undercut and the fact that his tyres will be wearing just that little bit more than everybody else around him. Still very much in the hunt.
Well, this is really nervy times right now for the Renault Vitality team. And you can see how aggressive you have to be in this final sector. Absolutely thrilling to ride on board. And then it opens up. So it's rapid stuff with no margin for error at all. And then it opens up. There's a little bit of runoff towards the end when the driver's scrubbing off the speed. It's going to be brilliant to see Formula One in Vietnam. But what a opening race we are being treated to around this circuit. From Longuet, Tonitza, Donoso, and the driver we can hear from now, Jarno Opmeer.
Yeah, copy. The name of the game right now is to wait for whatever happens at the end, because it will get wild, I guess.
Yeah, I have to get past the nose, I just, but
it's hard to wear down at the end as well.
So Jarno Opmeer, biding his time, believes it is going to kick off at the end of
one
the
way to put
race.
it.
And, well, you can see why, because despite all the efforts from Nicolas Longuet, who at one point got up to 0.8 of a second scampering clear, Tanitsa's responded to that, and he is very much within DRS range. Right, Opmeer predicting entertainment, providing us with some. Jarno Opmeer up to the second, up to third place, looking for a second podium in a row. And Jarno Opmeer finds his way past Fabrizio Donoso. Opmeer now beginning to go on the charge.
Lead defending from Rasmussen as well in the background. You can see Rasmussen pretty much pushing the Mercedes round these few corners.
Well, Rasmussen thought the race had been thrown away, but he's got that tyre advantage. That's the good news. Bad news is Lee, Donoso, Opmeer, Tanitsa and Longuet ahead.
Should get Opmeer in the commentary box. He's hyping it up, saying it's going to be carnage for the rest of this race. That's exactly what we want to see.
Gallagher-esque, isn't it?
Spicy.
Once again, over the line. Brilliantly poised this, even by F1 esports standards. No idea whether Longuet is going to be able to withstand the pressure. Tanitsa having to balance his desire for the win with the fact that he scored no points in the opening race of the year. Opmeer seemingly right now in the form of his life. Donoso, who's waited a long time to get back to this position. And then you look at Freddie Rasmussen, who probably has the right tyres on, but can he make use of them? He's got a wily customer ahead of him in Brendan Lee.
Yeah, not the easiest customer to overtake. Brendan Lee, he's already defended once from Freddie Rasmussen, but it is crucial. It's crucial laps as we get towards the end of this race. Freddie Rasmussen will not have that same pace advantage. Those soft tyres only last a certain amount of time. We saw it in the first stint. As here comes Freddie Rasmussen, very close indeed to Brendan Lee. Surely this is the best opportunity he's had.
This is a driver with DRS ahead, so this is all being done on the difference of compound. He's going to try and go around the outside. Lee's not going to give that one up, but he's got to give his rival room, and he's not able to get through. That will be a source of enormous frustration to Freddie Rasmussen, because if he cleared Lee there, he would have believed that a podium was on. But Lee fights back, and Freddie Rasmussen stays in sixth.
That's a two-time champ right there, Brendan Lee, just nudging him onto the exit curb. Freddie, you go over there, my friend. I want to take the racing line. I'm sure Freddie Rasmussen may have had a few choice words to say on his team radio, but these are crucial corners, crucial laps for Freddie Rasmussen to try and challenge for the podium.
So who has been waiting for these last few laps? Because Jarno Opmeer immediately said that on the radio, then launched his attack. Does he have any answer to the top two ahead of him? And can Freddie Rasmussen in the Red Bull, the lead Red Bull, not by much, but he is the lead Red Bull in sixth position. Can he make use of those tyres? The problem is that his rival ahead also has DRS, and whilst that remains the case, it's going to be hard to get by. But he's going to give it every go, I'm sure.
He will indeed, as we're down the straight again. DRS active. No moves happening just yet. Quick look to Dani Beresnay. He went for an incredibly aggressive strategy, pitting so early onto the soft tyres, and he got himself up to P11, I think, at one point, but his tyres are starting to go away now, and he's fading down to P15, so no points for one half of the Alfa Romeo team. It looks like Jarno Opmeer right now. Oh, here we go for the lead.
For the race lead, Tanitsa side by side. Scrap that, he's ahead. David Tanitsa waits to lap 17 of 19. Tanitsa did have more in the tank, and now he goes on the charge. Tanitsa takes the lead away from the Renault driver, and Tanitsa's looking to get up and running for esports in 2020. He doesn't look happy at the moment, but if he can stay in that position, he will be. Longuet caught unawares. That came from nowhere. It didn't look likely, and before you knew it, he was by.
Yeah, where did that come from? David Tanitsa's like, thank you, I'll take the head of the field now, but Longuet still very much in contention here. He hasn't lost the pace, he's lost the first position at the moment, but I'm sure Longuet will want to come back at him as we start lap 18, the penultimate lap.
And in third position, Jarno Opmeer just saying, you know what? You keep fighting, guys, because it plays him into contention as well. Similar tyres at the front, still Freddie Rasmussen has the tyre advantage but can't use it on Brendan Lee, who defended brilliantly there under pressure, you have to say, and his reward looks to be 5th position for the time being. But we haven't had a safety car. They really are that close. It is an incredibly tight championship. It's a tight battle. Can Longuet do what Tanitsa has done to him and fight back late on? Do you want the race lead at this stage of the race? Tactically, is Longuet in the right position? Your answer is coming up in a few moments' time. Longuet started in 5th because of the penalty, had the pace for pole, had it taken away from him, wants to fight back to the race lead. He's got DRS, and now Nicolas Longuet retakes the position, but he's done so to give an opportunity to Tanitsa on that last lap. It's the race lead. Can he stay there? We've not got long to wait to find out.
Longuet will need the first half of the lap of dreams to hold on to this race lead going into the final lap. But here, it's so difficult to tell here. I think Tanitsa might have it if he can get a good run down that long straight. We've already seen overtakes in the last 2 laps. What's Jarno Opmeer going to do? He predicted carnage. Is he going to stick a nose in down the inside of Tanitsa? It's all to play for in this last lap and a half.
How are your nerves, Nicolas Longuet? We're about to find out. He's got over the line now to start the 19th and final tour around Vietnam, the first race we have seen around the streets of Hanoi. He's got track position, but he knows that David Tanitsa is going to launch an attack here. He came from nowhere a couple of laps ago, and now Longuet tries to break clear. Tanitsa tries to stay in the wheel tracks. He will definitely have DRS, but will he be able to use it?
Longuet has a strong first sector, but well, Tanitsa's still very much in fighting contention. He's not going to overtake yet. He's just going to bide his time, stay as close as he possibly can to that Renault Diffuser, and then he's going to mount his challenge for the victory.
This is going to be the defining moment of the race. Your exit here. How close you can get. Can you build the slipstream? There's no advantage with the strategy. This has just been a real contest between the two of them. Longuet versus Tanitsa, and now with the DRS, Tanitsa trying to take the lead on the last lap, and he's pulling ahead. He's got the job done. David Tanitsa brilliantly takes the lead, but has he overcooked it? They're side by side out of the corner. Who's going to get the win here? It's being debated brilliantly between these two. Tanitsa's got the inside line, and they're so close to contact. It's absolutely thrilling stuff, but Tanitsa's finally edged ahead, and there's no real overtaking opportunity at this thrilling final part of the racetrack. What a battle between Longuet and the man in the lead as we come to the end of the 19th and final lap. David Tanitsa had a nightmare in Bahrain. It has been a dream performance here. He has the penultimate corner of the racetrack to go. Surely one of his most satisfying victories. David Tanitsa wins on the streets of Hanoi. What a performance for him. He's won the 2nd race of the year. He's denied Nicolas Longuet, and that was absolutely brilliant.
What a fantastic last lap between Tanitsa and Longuet. That's exactly what the doctor ordered on the final lap. Opmeer promised it, and well, that was just brilliant. My driver of the day, I think it has to go to Donoso, although he actually ended up in P8 in the end, so I feel like everything changed on that last lap. He was running in P4. I've given him driver of the day, and now he's shaking his head. I'm not sure what's happened.
Little bit of a secret we'll let you in on. We decided that a while ago. Anyway, Donoso's won that, even though he's a little bit disappointed. No one's going to take it away from our race winner, though. An extraordinary performance from the man they call Tonzilla, and you can see why.
Presenting their brand, they need to still be...
Absolutely unbelievable scenes as you are watching those drivers react to it. Incredible. What a ding-dong battle that was.
More of the same, please. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. What a battle.
Tanitsa started brilliantly and finished even better.
It was incredible. And as Matthew Gallagher up there was saying, the Aramco F1 Esports Driver of the Day, he's given to Fabrizio Donoso. Listen, I'll tell you what, I want to get the classification, the final standings there. I want to find out the DHL fastest lap time. I want to announce that because there is very little time in the show left. But, I mean, I tell you what, unbelievable scenes. And listen, Lucas Blakely getting the DHL fastest lap time, so congratulations to him. Listen, not much time. I'll tell you what we'll do. Because we're doing a show tomorrow, let's save the analysis till then. I'm sure you'll be back on the touchscreen, Nick. But driver of the day for you, maybe?
I'm going to go for Tanitsa. What a fantastic move at the end of the race there.
Yeah. And Natalie.
Ditto to that man. I mean, that was just brilliant, wasn't it? Edge of your seat stuff. Exactly what we needed.
Yeah, and obviously, David says you can see there on the screen the celebrations that are going on. But after Bahrain, we thought maybe what's happened to Tanitsa, but there he is.
And he looked so nervous before the race. Did you see that? He was really edgy, but then he just let his racer do the talking.
And if you mentioned earlier on in the show that soft, cuddly toy, that is the Tonzilla that was there in the shot. So listen.
Exactly what we were all thinking. We were all wondering that, weren't we?
And I tell you what, 10 out of 10 for the first ever Vietnam Grand Prix. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, here we go then. Listen, as I say, we'll be back tomorrow with all of the analysis. That's it from us this evening. Just time to tell you that qualifying for the 2021 Pro Series is now open. It could be you. Head over to f1esports.com to find out how you can get involved. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow, like I say, for the third race of the season when we travel to Shanghai. You can join Matt Gallagher and Nick Hamilton at 3:30 p.m. British summertime for the live qualifying show. And then at 7:30 p.m, we're all back again here for the live race itself. What a start it's been to the Pro Series. Thank you very much to Natalie, Nick, Matt and Alex. We'll see you again tomorrow. Hello and welcome to the F1 Esports Pro Series 2020.
The new season is underway. Otmir in the box seat.
What a start for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Brilliant race victory for Jarno Opmeer.
As we have 5 red lights on in Hanoi, Jarno Opmeer takes the lead in the second. To the inside and up to second place goes Nicholas Longuet.